Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates, coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. Welcome everybody to the show, and we want to thank everybody for being here as well. God bless America. God bless the world. We definitely need it. We're going to be talking primarily today about Southern California earthquakes. I told you last night that we had not talked about, or I reminded you last night that we've not talked about any earthquakes in California at all this week. And so we're going to be talking about earthquakes in California primarily. But first, I want to show you a 4.0 earthquake. This happened in southwestern Colorado near the border with New Mexico. Okay, this, as you can see, is on what they call the front range of the Rocky Mountains. The front range of the Rocky Mountains. To the northwest, we have the Rio Grande National Park, or Rio Grande National Park. To the southwest, we have Carson National Forest. Okay, this is right in the New Mexico-Colorado border area. This is in the front range of the Rocky Mountains. What do we know about the Rocky Mountains, guys? It was caused by uplift, by the plate tectonics. The Pacific plate going directly underneath the North American plate causes uplift, causes the mountains to grow up, going up. Okay, that's what's going on here. This is why we have an earthquake here. This is plate tectonics in action. Okay, this was a substantial moderate 4.0 earthquake, nothing more and nothing less. Okay, some people have turned it into a great big deal. It could be a big deal, but down here along the Rocky Mountains, not really. Where did it come from? It came from way up in northern Canada, up in the Yukon territories. If you remember, folks, a couple 3 weeks ago we had some 4.5s. We even had a 5.0 in the northern Yukon territories. So folks, this energy worked itself down from the northern Rocky Mountains in the Yukon. Okay, it's come down. It's now here in Colorado, New Mexico area. Where could it go? Where do you think it might go? It could go through and hit still another time in New Mexico, but I believe, if I'm not mistaken, okay, we've seen pictures of the craton, haven't we? Maybe that's what we need to show you right now, a picture of the craton. That way you probably won't forget. Okay, let me take down my banner here. You can see the craton here. See where the Rocky Mountains go or start way up in northern Canada and the eastern side of Alaska? It goes all the way down through Canada here. It goes down here through Montana, and it touches on Idaho as well. It goes down into Wyoming. It goes through Utah. It goes through Colorado. It goes through Mexico. And where does it go into? Southwestern Texas. Southwestern Texas. It goes into the western part of Texas, but then it takes a trip north, goes up into Oklahoma. It takes an eastern trip for about 200 miles until it gets down into what? What is that other famous seismic plate there? What other fault do we have? It's called the New Madrid Fault. And then it goes down into the New Madrid Fault, and then it hustles its way northeast. It goes northeast. Georgia, Tennessee, Kentucky, goes up into South Carolina, goes up into North Carolina, Virginia and West Virginia, and continues north up through into Canada. So that is a craton. So where might this earthquake go, since it's over there in southwestern Colorado, right at the New Mexico border? It could go all the way into southwestern Texas. So we might have an earthquake, a natural earthquake, 4.0 in southwestern Texas, in the oil fields, no less. Okay? Yes, that could happen. Will it? I'm not so sure. It's probable. It's probable. But I wanted to show you that because that's the biggest earthquake really that we've had here in the United States. Yes, there's some 5s down in the South Pacific, south of New Zealand. It's south of New Zealand, but it's also southeast of Australia. But it's west of Macquarie Island, over on the Antarctic Ridge. The Antarctic Ridge, another continental plate. Okay, so that's what's happening there. Now, I want to talk a bit about what is actually going on with our quakes. Folks, California has been moving. Brokefish is here in our chat here. He says, hello, EMA. Thank you. Appreciate you being here. He's a dear friend of ours. He's a friend of the channel as well. We appreciate you being here. Now, folks, you all have seen earthquakes hitting in Southern California literally all week. I'm going to tell you something. I was kind of mystified by what we have seen here in Southern California. Why? Because the seismicity has now gone down. The energy that has been expended in different areas in Southern California has actually gone down. All week long, the energy was up, meaning the size of the earthquakes and tremors was actually really good, pretty high. It was getting there. But you're going to see on the seismograms that I'm going to show you that the energy level has actually gone down over the entire Southern California area. No doubt. Let's take a look at what we're seeing here. Okay? This is MacArthur Park. MacArthur Park in Los Angeles. You don't see much here. You see a tiny bit, very tiny bit of tremor activity. However, let's go see what the USGS has to show us here. Okay? They're going to tell a little bit different story. Okay? Let me take down my banner again here. You see this earthquake here in MacArthur Park? Guess what? This is a 1.7 tremor in MacArthur Park in Los Angeles. USGS is having this. They're showing it. But Caltech doesn't even show it. The Caltech seismogram shows almost nothing. Almost nothing. Isn't it interesting how these primary agencies here in California cannot even agree? USGS shows a 1.7 quake here in MacArthur Park, and Caltech doesn't show anything. Okay? Rebecca Griffith, who lives in New Mexico, is asking about that New Mexico earthquake. You can go back and take a look at what we talked about. It was a 4.0 moderate earthquake at the border of Colorado and New Mexico. You can go back and take a look at this program after we're finished. But folks, this is just part of what we're going to talk about. This is just part of what we're going to talk about. It's unfortunate that the Caltech doesn't support this earthquake, but USGS put it up. Okay? So that's the start of what we're going to talk about. And I'm going to go alphabetically. I want to go alphabetically. So the next place we're going to go, well, actually, just to let you know what we're seeing, let's go over to an earthquake map. Okay? Let's take a look at the earthquake map all over Southern California. Look at the earthquakes that have hit. The brownish orange quakes here, folks, the brownish orange quakes here are the current earthquakes we have here. The current earthquakes USGS says that we have. The yellow quakes have happened this week. The yellow dots here are earthquakes that have happened this week. And there's quite a number of them, aren't there? The white earthquakes are over a week old. And they're about to be taken down from the USGS map. That's how this is. The white are quakes that are about to be taken down. The yellow have happened literally all week long. The orangish brown here are earthquakes that have happened today. Okay? But actually, USGS is not showing all the earthquakes either. I'm going to show you that as well. Okay? Just so you know. Okay? I want to show you this. Let's see here. Where are we going? Okay. See where it says Long Beach area? And you see where the L is in Los Angeles? San Pedro area. San Pedro area. Okay? Just east and north of San Pedro is where we have Rancho Palos Verdes. And we do have a seismogram at Rancho Palos Verdes. I wanted to show you that today. Okay? Just so you know what we're talking about. Go over to the center top of this map. This is Lancaster. Lancaster. I'm going to show you a seismogram from Lancaster. It's called Fox Airport in Lancaster. Okay, I'm going to show you that. I'm going to show you a seismogram in Victorville. Victorville. That is where Isaiah's granny lives. We all know Isaiah's granny here. A very good friend of mine. Been a friend of mine for a long time. Let's see here. We're going to be talking about Long Beach today. So you see that entry in Long Beach here? Why do we have that? Because, folks, we have Light Hype and we have State Street, the Anaheim Long Beach area. We're going to be talking about that as well. We're going to be talking about that area between Los Angeles and North San Diego County. North San Diego County. Let me move this map over here. If we go straight to the right of where it says Los Angeles, okay, we're going to see a seismogram in Mira Loma. Loma Linda and Mira Loma area. That's where that is. Okay? And then we're going to go south, not straight down, but straight out to the right and down. Okay? We're going to show you the Anza Gap area. And it leads into Anza Borrego National Park, or not National Park, Anza Borrego California State Park, which is in northeast San Diego. That is just northwest of the Salton Sea there that you see. Okay? You can see the earthquakes that are out that way today. They're not showing any earthquakes in the Imperial Valley just south of the Salton Sea. Guess what? They lie. They just lie through their teeth. We're going to be talking about the area just off the coast of San Diego. Just off the coast of San Diego. There's a substantial, well, I can't say necessarily substantial, but a very important earthquake that hit just off of Coronado Island. Just off of Coronado Island today. And so we're going to be talking about that as well. All of these earthquakes in this area we're going to talk about, and we're going to also talk about other places that have had earthquakes that they're not even telling us about. Okay? So I've given you a brief synopsis of where we're going and why. Folks, they have continually told us that they don't cover all the earthquakes. They don't show all the earthquakes on the earthquake maps. It's very apparent what they do and what they don't do. So I want to show you that earthquake map just to give you an idea of where we're going here today. Okay? There are a lot of earthquakes, but the strength of those earthquakes has actually gone down for the first time in quite some time. Let's go look at Bakersfield. Bakersfield, California. Look at this. This is one place. This is just one place where we actually have more earthquakes than we did last week. Last week I showed you this, and there were quite a few earthquakes here, but not as much as there are now. You can see tremors mostly. That's all we have here are tremors here in the Bakersfield area. We had less tremors last week than we do now. So here is an increase out in Bakersfield. Why do we want to see this? This is on the San Andreas Fault. This is the San Andreas Fault in action. A lot of tremors there. Now let's go just northwest of Los Angeles, up into the Baldwin Hills. This is the Baldwin Hills seismogram. As we've talked about Baldwin Hills before, I told you this used to be a huge forested hilly region, and they bulldozed down the trees. They cleared the area for oil and gas. They have probably 200 or 300 oil and gas pumps and jacks in this area of the Baldwin Hills. Now you do see tremors, 1.1, 1.2, and I believe maybe even a 1.3 tremor here. But this is nothing. Okay? For previous weeks, this is nothing, because we had an increase in tremors here going, and it's been going for several weeks. So here we have our decrease, one of the decreases in seismicity on these seismograms. Okay, so Baldwin Hills has gone down for whatever reason. Okay, let's continue. Let's go back out to Barstow, out in the desert. This is also the San Andreas Fault. All we see here are very light, long-term, long-duration tremors. We've seen a lot of long-duration tremors all over the United States. I showed you some over in the New Madrid Fault area. Long-duration tremors. That's what we're also seeing here on the San Andreas Fault out here in Bakersfield. Okay? Barstow area. I showed you Bakersfield, the first one out. This is Barstow, out in the desert. Let's continue. Let's go over to southeast of Los Angeles to a town called Fontana. Fontana is a bustling town of about 90,000 people, I believe. Okay? Fontana is getting earthquakes. Okay? You can see this. Yes, we have a lot of tremors here. We're also seeing some minor earthquakes here in Fontana. Up at the top right of this slide, you can see a 2.3 earthquake. It went off the paper. And look out to the right. the secondary wave of that quake goes out for 30 seconds. 30 seconds is a long period of time. This is at least a 2.3 earthquake. We can't see the bottom of it because the bottom of it is being covered by color from earthquakes that happened after that. Earthquakes and tremors. Okay? So there's that one. Then if you look over to the left center here, it says 7 a.m. I'm sorry, 8 a.m. 8 a.m. over on the left hand side, 0800. We look over to the right. Over at 8:06 a.m. on the black line. Here we have another at least 2.3, 2.5 earthquake. Okay? We can see what happened. Okay? It wasn't just one quake. It was a group of several quakes that hit here. Yes, they are just minor earthquakes, but the size of it is what we're looking at. Fontana has had 2.3s. Fontana has had 3.0 earthquakes before. This looks like it might be ramping up over here in Fontana. Okay? I want everybody to understand this is over on the eastern side of Los Angeles. On the freeway system, there are highways or freeways that funnel traffic all the way out here to Fontana. The highway patrol has chased people over here into Fontana. If you go look on YouTube, Los Angeles ABC channel, I think it's channel 7 in Los Angeles, they've covered it. KTLA channel 5 has covered it. The CBS channel and KCAL have also covered the traffic accidents and traffic chases of the highway patrol out even to Fontana. These are earthquakes in that same area. Okay? So Fontana is moving. Definitely Fontana is moving. Let's keep going. Let's go north into Chino. Chino. Look what we have here. Folks, this is a downgrade from what we've seen here in Chino before. Okay? This is a downgrade, meaning we're not seeing as many earthquakes and tremors as we've seen here in Chino before. We've almost seen a full picture here of color. A lot of tremors hitting here in Fontana, or not Fontana, but Chino, and this is not the case today. This is actually a decrease in seismic activity in Chino, California. Let's go over to Del Amo. Now we're talking more of central Los Angeles area. Look at Del Amo. Del Amo really has not decreased. Del Amo has not decreased. You can see some 2.0, 2.3 earthquakes here. Down at the bottom on the green line, you can see a 2.3 earthquake there. You can't see the top of it because it's covered by colors above that. Earthquakes that have happened before this earthquake did here in Del Amo. Okay? But if you look closely, you can see some really good-sized tremors and possibly another 2.0 earthquake just after 6 a.m. this morning. Okay? So seismic activity is continuing to happen at Del Amo. Let's continue here. Let's go over to Ellis. Okay? This is a seismogram at Ellis. At the beginning of the day and at 5 a.m. this morning, which is the black line at the top, all you see is 1.2, maybe even a 1.3 tremor. That's all. But after 7 a.m., things start happening. More and more tremors, and the tremors get larger. I don't think we've had any earthquakes here at all. Going down here to 10:45 a.m. on the green line. Okay, we can go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes later. which is 10:50 a.m. this morning. That might be a 2.0 earthquake, but it would be the only one. But you can see the seismicity ramping up here in this area. Okay, Ellis, California. Let's keep moving here. The next one we're going to take a look at is Fox Airport in Lancaster. I showed you where Lancaster is. Again, this is over on the San Andreas Fault, guys. Lancaster, California. Folks, up at the top on the left-hand side, this is 5:16, almost 5:17 this morning. That's a 1.3 tremor. That's the biggest tremor here at Lancaster today. It's all been tiny stuff. Very, very small 1.3, 1.2, 1.1 tremors. That's all. Yes, we do have a lot of microquakes here, but not much about anything else. So this area of the San Andreas Fault, it's quiet. It's almost too quiet. Let's continue. Let's go over to Idlewild. Okay? This is in the San Bernardino Mountains. This is quiet as well. However, what are we seeing? We're seeing 1.2 and 1.3 tremors here. A lot of them. USGS is not showing anything. Usually, USGS will show 1.3, 1.5, 1.7 tremors on their tremor map, but today, they're not showing Idlewild at all. It is quiet, but not deathly quiet. We still have tremors going through Idlewild, California today, San Bernardino Mountains. The next thing I want to take a look at is over on the coast. Laguna Bell, right here. The coast is quiet. It's relatively quiet today. All we have here are tremors. These are constant, continuous tremors. 1.1, 1.2, even has some 1.3 tremors. But the lines are always moving. Each line on these seismograms represents a 15-minute time period. From 5 in the morning, in this case, to 11:15 this morning. I pulled this just before noon today. Folks, look at this. This is nothing but tremor activity here. We've seen this happen before. I would show you Marina del Rey and Playa del Rey, but guess what? USGS and Caltech has foobarred that seismogram up. There's no sense to it. It's all what they call abstract. It's junk. It doesn't mean anything. I wanted to show you the northern part of the coast of Los Angeles, and they've screwed it up, so it's not even taking a look at. This one here, there are some minor tremors along the coast down there. Okay? Minor tremors along the coast of Laguna area. Okay? Let's continue. Let's go over to Long Beach, Anaheim area. Let's take a look at light hype. Look at this. This is quiet. This is very quiet compared to what we've shown you in previous weeks. Yes, we still have a lot of tremor activity. That hasn't gone away. But this is the most white. This is the most white background that we've been seeing here at Light Hype and or State Street. State Street you're going to see in just a minute, where it shows a lot more tremor activity, a lot more color. But here at Light Hype, for the first time in a very, very long time, it's not showing hardly anything. Maybe 1.6, 1.7 tremors at the most. There are no 2.0 earthquakes here at Light Hype. This was amazing when I found this today. I actually thought we'd get more tremors and earthquakes there and at State Street. I'm going to show you State Street right now. This is State Street, guys. It's a lot more activity than light hype has shown, but there also is a lot of white here. There also is a lot of white. This is not as strong as it was in previous weeks. If you can remember, in previous weeks there was almost no white showing at all. It was almost all covered side to side, top to bottom here at Light Hype and at State Street. They're only a matter of maybe a mile, mile and a half apart. Okay, but that's what's going on. Cassandra's asking, how long ago did I start this broadcast? About 40 minutes ago. About 40 minutes ago. NCWQ Explorer says, got to check the California Nevada earthquake site to see all of them. USGS doesn't post them at all. She's right. Rebecca is absolutely right. Earthquakes at the California-Nevada border, USGS did not even post them, which is a sad state of affairs. The primary earthquake agency in the United States doesn't post earthquakes. They'll say, oh yes, we do. Then how come you don't post all of them? Oh, there's no room on the map. Bull crap. Bull honky. I want to go out to Los Alamos County Park. Los Alamos County Park. Usually there's very little to talk about here. Los Alamos County Park is a count north of Los Angeles area. We have an earthquake here. That's why I wanted to pull this. After 10 a.m. today, we had an earthquake. This was a 2.5, 2.7 magnitude earthquake. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just after 10:08 this morning. Okay? This may have not been felt. Usually minor earthquakes between 2.0 and 2.9 cannot be felt. So this may not have been felt except for someone who is very sensitive. Then it might be felt. But that is the biggest earthquake here in Los Alamos that we've seen in a very long time. Usually I scan these, I want to say 2 or 3 times a week. But this is the largest quake we've seen here at Los Alamos in a very long time. You see a lot of tremors there, don't you? Oh yeah, there are a lot of tremors at Los Alamos County Park. Let's go into the heart of LA. Let's look at Los Angeles. This is at the City County building, that great big huge tall building. I don't remember the address, but this is where it's at. This seismograph is located in the bottom, or not the bottom, the basement of the building. That's where the Emergency Management Center is. This is showing nothing but very minor tremors. Usually these have been heavier than we're showing today. These are very minor tremors that have been recorded here at the center of Los Angeles at the City County building there. Let's go over to Moore Park. No. Yes, let's go over to Moore Park first. Okay? Moore Park is north of Los Angeles. It's a suburb of Los Angeles. A very well-to-do area as of what I can see. I've seen pictures of homes there. They range in price from about, I want to say, $275,000 to $750,000. This is a very well-to-do area. We have some earthquakes and tremors here. Okay? Not a big deal. Maybe a 2.0 earthquake late this morning. Okay? It's on the 11 o'clock line this morning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just after 11:07 a.m. this morning. We may have had a 2.0, but it's probably not even that. This may just be tremors. Okay? But this is quite a few tremors here at Moore Park. Usually this is also an area where we've seen more seismic activity here at Moore Park than we're seeing today. Like I said, it's a very quiet Saturday when it comes to these earthquakes. Let's go over to Loma Linda, Mira Loma and Loma Linda area. Again, folks, I showed you where it was on the map. Loma Linda Medical Center. Okay, this is just south of Loma Linda. This is Mira Loma. Folks, we have some seismic activity that is borderline 2.0. It's borderline 2.0, meaning it's a 1.9 tremor. I believe the largest seismic events here are 1.9 tremors. Yes, we have them smaller than that, but I believe the largest ones are 1.9 tremors. We've actually had more seismic activity here in the past than we have here today. This is one of those things that's happened today. Not much. It's a quiet Saturday. Folks, I'm going to skip over the next one because it's part of my commentary on the Imperial Valley in California. So we're going to skip over Ocotillo Park and talk about that in just a few minutes. Hold on a second. Okay, let's talk about go over, I want to show you where Pardee is. I've often shown you the Pardee seismogram. I want now to show you where Pardee is, okay? Any of you that know where Stockton, California is, Pardee is about 85 to 100 miles northeast of Stockton. It's also out southeast of Sacramento. Okay, so now you know where Pardee is. Okay, I've often talked about Pardee, but this is maybe only the second time that we've actually located on the map for you so you can see where we're going. This is Pardee. Look at all the tremors here. Yes, we have some good sized tremors here, but again, this is not what we've seen in the past. In the past, we've had a lot more tremors here. This is a light seismic activity day here at Pardee as well. Let's go over to Playa del Rey. This is Playa del Rey on Thursday, the day before yesterday. Like I said, Playa del Rey seismogram today doesn't show anything at all. It's crap. Every signature there has nothing to do anything with earthquakes or tremors. So I'm not showing you today's seismogram from Playa del Rey. But this is Thursday. Notice they had a 2.8 magnitude earthquake. A minor earthquake here along the coast of Los Angeles. Okay? This is also a very well-to-do area, Playa del Rey, Marina del Rey area. A very well-to-do area. If you see the map, you see a lot of slips for boats. Piers and slips for boats. A lot of boats. Probably several hundred boats over in the Playa del Rey, Marina del Rey area. Very ritzy area, guys. Very expensive area. But they had on Thursday a 2.9, maybe even close to a 3.0 earthquake. And you can see it here. Okay? Good old Playa del Rey. I spent many a great time with friends of mine over in Playa del Rey, Marina del Rey area. Great area. Okay, now folks, we're going out into the desert of Southern California. Rancho Mirage. Folks, we've seen more tremors at Rancho Mirage before. Here you see a lot of tiny tremors, and that's all. A lot of tiny tremors and microquakes. That's it. There's nothing really going on at Rancho Mirage today. It's out in the desert. It's got a lot of nifty hotels out there if you can afford it. There's a lot of very wealthy people at Rancho Mirage. Okay? Okay, let's continue here. I want to go to Rancho Palos Verdes. I showed you where that was on the map of Los Angeles. Okay? Here you see the seismogram today. You actually see an earthquake in the red. Folks, this is 9:19 a.m. today. I don't know why we're not seeing a long wave, long vertical line in the red going up here. Apparently they cut it off. This looks to be a 2.8, 2.9 earthquake. A 2.8, 2.9 earthquake here. Okay? This is also a nice area of homes here. Rancho Palos Verdes. Okay? Really nice homes. The rest of it is minor tremors at best. Nothing really significant here but minor tremors and that one earthquake in Rancho Palos Verdes today. Okay, let's keep moving. Let's go over to Rinaldi, California. We've had more seismic events before today here. This is a very poor showing of seismic events in Rinaldi, California. A lot of tremors, but that's all we have here. Just minor tremors in Rinaldi. Let's keep going. Let's go out to Riverside. Also, we've had more tremors before in Riverside, California as well. This is the fewest number of tremors that I've ever seen. Most of this is just microquakes. Microquakes and an occasional, maybe 1.1 tremor at the very most. Okay? Usually they're larger tremors and consistent, long duration tremors here. Now all we have are microquakes at best. Okay? Not much activity in Riverside, which is kind of surprising since Riverside is preparing for a 7.5 earthquake. Yeah, folks, when Riverside goes, it will be destroyed. It will be destroyed. Their emergency management team there knows that a 7.0, 7.5 earthquake is brewing. I promise you that's what it's going to be. Now, there is a video out on YouTube, and I forgot what it's called. I viewed it yesterday. No, I viewed it the day before yesterday, and it is very pertinent when it talks about the earthquakes and the seismicity in the Los Angeles area. Los Angeles is get side slapped. They're going to be bouncing around all over the valley, all over the entire area of LA. LA is going to get hit, as well as Riverside, California. It's not going to be pretty when Riverside gets hit. Terry and I have said before that when Riverside goes, it will not be recognizable. You will not be able to see what you used to see in Riverside. It'll be basically gone. Gone as in former been there. Okay? Now, I want to show you San Clemente Island. We've had seismic events out just off of Los Angeles shoreline. San Clemente Island. This is San Clemente Island. Okay? We've had a lot of tremors out in this area. This is also the least number of tremors we've ever seen here at San Clemente Island. Usually this entire seismogram is filled with these minor tremors, but this is all they have here. Okay? It's surprising. It's very surprising. What causes tremors out here in the islands off the coast of LA? It's called the Newport-Inglewood Fault. And there's a couple other ancillary faults out there as well, but I believe the Newport-Inglewood Fault is what causes most of the earthquakes over here in the islands. Okay, so there's that. Okay, Santa Monica. Let me show you this. This is Santa Monica Field. This is an airport in Santa Monica. It's a very small airport considering Los Angeles Airport is just south of here. Santa Monica is a very good-sized, large town, large city, and it's got a small airport. All we see here today are just minor tremors. Constant, consistent minor tremors. Nothing big at all. This is kind of typical, but we've seen more tremors here before this today. Okay? So Santa Monica is also very quiet. I want to go over to the central part of Los Angeles, to Santiago Peak. Santiago Peak. Folks, this is a mountainside in the center part of Los Angeles. All of the television stations, all of the ham radio repeaters are up here on Santiago Peak. There's only one or two. Oat Mountain, for example. Oat Mountain I was going to show you, but they don't hardly show anything today at all. This is Santiago Peak. We're at least showing some tremors here. Again, we've seen more activity here before this. It's very quiet today. I don't know why it's quiet. Maybe it's getting ready for a very small, minor Sunday activity. But today here at Santiago Peak, not very much of anything here, which is surprising. It's very surprising. University of Southern California, UC Los Angeles. Okay? Nothing but tremors. Again, we've seen more tremor activity here at UC Southern California. It's quiet. It's too quiet. Now, when I've heard seismologists talking about too quiet, something usually is going to happen. We've seen seismic activity come out of nowhere when it's too quiet. This may be one of those days. We shall see. Let's go over to a volcano over in East Los Angeles area. This is Walnut La Puente. Walnut La Puente. Where have we seen this kind of activity before? We saw it a long time ago up on the north side of Mount Shasta. The north side of Mount Shasta. We've seen it at Bombay Beach. Yes, we have. Folks, this is getting very concerning, what's going on here at Walnut La Puente. This is a volcanic caldera. The entire town of Walnut La Puente sits on a volcano. Literally on top of a volcano. What have we seen here? This is magmatic activity below the surface. This has nothing to do with earthquake faults. This is magma movement below the surface here. Look at these earthquakes. 3.0, 4.0 earthquakes here. And you can see them. Over at the top left, that red seismic signature, that looks to be about a 4.0 earthquake. The bottom and top of it have been cut off. You cannot see the top of this earthquake at all. Look at that. They cut the bottom and the top off so you can't see exactly how strong that earthquake is. Over on the right, on the right side here, yes, on the right, you still see seismic activity here. Again, I believe this is probably close to 4.0 activity. At the very minimum, it's 3.5, 3.7. Okay? I believe it's at least a 3.5 earthquake, as well as a one at 5:45 on the green line there. You can see its top and bottom have been cut off as well. You can see the others here. Okay? This one in blue at 10:30 this morning. Just after 10:31 this morning. I believe this one's also been cut off, but this may just be a 3.0 earthquake. It might be. It could be larger. We've seen larger activity here today. This is more disjointed. This one is more disjointed. Off to the right, this would be 11:29 a.m. this morning. Okay, again, we're looking at least a 3.0 earthquake, maybe 3.5. They've cut off the bottom and the top of this as well. This one only lasted just over 30 seconds, maybe 40 seconds. Okay, you see a lot of activity here at Walnut La Puente. That is a ton of activity at a volcano in Los Angeles. You don't see the emergency management personnel talking about that too much, do they? I wonder, in fact, I'm going to try to see if I can contact the emergency manager over there at Walnut La Puente this week and see if I can stop and talk to him. That would be a great thing to know, what he believes is happening there. Okay, I'm going into San Diego County now. I'm going down into San Diego County. Okay? I'm first going to go over to San Diego Gas and Electric in Mission Valley. It is the control room for San Diego Mission Gas and Electric area. Okay? We're not seeing anything here but tiny tremors. Again, seismic activity here in San Diego is starting to ramp up. This particular seismogram comes from a machine that's located in the San Diego Gas and Electric building just north of Mission Valley. It is monitoring the seismic activity on the Rose Canyon Fault. The Rose Canyon Fault comes out of Los Angeles at the Newport Inglewood, out in the ocean. Out in the ocean. The Rose Canyon Fault goes south from there, and it goes down into San Diego County just off the coast of Encinitas. Then it pulls east towards Encinitas and continues to go inland. It does not go inland very far though. It goes inland to Del Mar area. It goes further inland into the city of San Diego. And then it leaves San Diego City land and goes out into the harbor of San Diego County. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. But the interesting thing is with the Rose Canyon Fault here is it could harbor a 7.0 to a 7.5 earthquake. The Rose Canyon Fault can endure a 7.0 to 7.5 earthquake. So San Diego County, you are going to have that. It's either going to be on the Rose Canyon Fault or it's going to be coming from Imperial Valley, Imperial Desert area just east of San Diego County. We saw that happen in April 2010. With a 7.0, we believe it's probably higher than that, but they had a 7.1 earthquake, which was, like I said, we believe it was higher than that, but at the time, that's all we had for that earthquake. If it happens again, we'll be able to monitor it, see exactly what it is. In this case, they said it was a 7.1 earthquake. It happened on Easter Sunday, April 2010. It shook all over the place. A 7.1 earthquake. It shook all the way over into Arizona. It was felt over in Las Vegas area. It was felt all over San Diego County and made buildings sway. It was felt all the way up into the Los Angeles area as well. That was a big earthquake. It was on the southern border between the Imperial Valley and Mexico. Between the Imperial Valley and Mexico. Folks, that's a big deal. It's huge. It made the tall buildings in San Diego sway. Glass fell out of the glass panes from way up near the top of the buildings. Glass breakage, falling on the sidewalks and roadway beneath there. Can you imagine what would have happened if people had been walking on the sidewalks? And maybe there were. It was not reported by anyone that anyone actually got hurt from getting hit with glass. I'm sure it can happen. I'm very sure it can happen. Anyway, today, San Diego Gas and Electric is reporting not much of anything. Not much of anything at all. We can go over to Cuyamaca High School, up at the top of the Chocolate Mountains in San Diego County, East San Diego. Look what we're seeing in the Cuyamaca Mountains, Cuyamaca High School. There's a bunch of tremors here, aren't there? These are not long duration tremors either. These are short duration tremors. I think the longest one might have been 2 or 3 minutes at the most. Long duration tremor activity out here in the Cuyamaca Mountains. Okay? Imagine having a seismograph at a school. What a great thing that would be to see seismic activity happening before your very eyes when you're in high school. That would be nifty. And I just dated myself by saying that word. It would be nifty. Hey, I said it again. Anyway, guys, let's go now over to El Cajon. We're coming back down off the Chocolate Mountains westbound into El Cajon. El Cajon is a city of about 100,000 people. It's at the base of the Chocolate Mountains, literally, East San Diego County. I loved El Cajon. I really did. El Cajon was everything. There was a lot to do in El Cajon. I want to show you this. This is Pechanga Casino in El Cajon. Again, this is a lot of tremor activity, but this is not as much activity as it has had here at Pechanga Casino east of El Cajon. There's been a lot more tremors here in the past, and I believe they were larger tremors as well. So this is what's happening over by El Cajon. Okay, this is the Elsinore Fault area. This is powered by the Elsinore Fault, putting out all this tremor activity. Okay, let's look at Cuyamaca High School. It was the it was the San Jacinto Fault. The San Jacinto Fault. Here near El Cajon, that was the Elsinore Fault. The Elsinore Fault also has responsibility for causing earthquakes at Palomar Mountain. Palomar Mountain, where the telescope is. Okay? And there's nothing to show you at Palomar Mountain today either. It's quiet there, which is way weird. Let's go over to, I should have probably showed you this before I went into San Diego. This is just north of San Diego County. This is actually Orange County. Okay? This is San Jacinto College. Yes, I took some police courses there. I also taught a couple of police courses here at San Jacinto College. Okay, this is out in Hemet, California. Nothing but tremors. You see more activity here before as well. Nothing but tremors here in Hemet, California. It's a very desert community, very arid. They grow a lot of small vegetation, lettuce, and crops like that. Over in Hemet area. Hemet Paris area. All right. Okay, way down south in San Diego County, southeast San Diego County. This is just north of the U.S.-Mexican border. This is a town called Campo. The San Diego Railroad Museum has a train that they have there on the tracks. It's a museum piece from the San Diego Railroad Museum. This is a seismograph sitting out there. This seismogram shows you nothing but tremors here. Okay? And actually I believe they were larger tremors the last time I saw this. Okay? So Campo is very quiet as well. Let's continue. Let's see here. I showed you Cuyamaca High School. I showed you Pechanga Casino. I've shown you Mission Valley. I've shown you Hemet. Okay, I'm going to show you what's going on in the Imperial County. My first stop here is going to be at El Centro. Folks, this is El Centro. This seismogram comes from a seismograph sitting at the military base El Centro Naval Air Station. You see earthquakes here. This seismic activity is a lot less than we've shown you here in the past. In the past, there's been anywhere from 1 to 10 3.0 earthquakes here. At least 3.0, probably 3.5 earthquakes here. Substantial number of quakes. Here, we're just showing you one 3.0 here. Up at the top after 5 a.m. this morning. One 3.0 earthquake at 5 a.m. this morning. That's all. That's all. We've got some 2.8s here. We've got some 2.5s. We've got a 2.3 and a bunch of tremors here. These are this is a very small representation of what was a very active seismogram here at El Centro Naval Air Station. It's too quiet. Okay, let's go into the area of Imperial County now. This is going to be fun. This is going to be fun, guys and gals. Let's see, where do we want to... I want to go over to the town of Imperial, right here. Last week we even had a bunch of 3.0s, 3.5 earthquakes. Now, all we have maybe, just after 1:40, actually 1:55 a.m. today. It started off as tremor activity. Then it got up to about 2.0 and then died off again. The seismic activity lasted about 5 minutes, a total of 5 minutes. At the peak, we may have had a 2.0 earthquake. All the rest of this activity is just tremors here at the town of Imperial. No big deal at all. Not at all. Yes, we've had a lot of earthquakes here in the past. Yes, there's quite a bit of seismic activity all over Southern California, but it's nothing. It's tremor activity. We go north from Imperial up to Westmoreland. This is over on the southwestern side of the Salton Sea. Westmoreland, California is known for tremors. You see a lot of tremors here, long duration tremors. Okay, this is kind of typical of what we see at Westmoreland. Yes, we've seen some minor earthquake activity here. Nothing huge. Nothing huge. We've seen 2.0 activity here before, 2.5s, but that's just about all. Okay, now let's go over to, oh, don't tell me that. Now I'm going to pull another seismogram here. I thought I already had it. Doggone it. All right. I'm going to show you the seismogram that's down at the Salton Sea Desert Research Station in Holtville in just a minute. But there's bigger activity here. There's a lot bigger activity here. Calipatria has a lot of information, and I'm going to show you Calipatria in just about a minute. But I want to go over and show you what we have to see at Calipatria in just a minute. Oh, come on. Okay, good. I know I've got it now. Okay, let's take a look at the Salton Sea Desert Research Station. This is south central Imperial Valley. Okay, yes, we've seen more activity here before as well. This is very light seismic activity. This is nothing but tremors down here. Okay, we don't have any activity south of here though. There's absolutely no seismic activity being recorded south of here. This is dead quiet. Dead quiet. Now, there's a lot more activity that I'm going to show you now. This is Calipatria, California. Okay? This seismogram shows you what happened yesterday. I just want to verify something here. Yeah, yesterday at noon. The seismogram started at 12 noon yesterday. Look at the earthquakes here over on the left-hand side. This is a ton of seismic energy. Okay? You see these thick red lines here. The red lines are caused by the computer getting the seismologist's attention. That's what the red lines are for. Getting the seismologist's attention. You see two thick red lines there, generated by the computer, but the tops and the bottoms of these earthquakes have been cut off. The tops and the bottom of these earthquake signatures have been cut off. Again, they do not want us to know how strong these earthquakes were. But I'm telling you guys, they were at least 3.0 earthquakes. 3.0 small earthquakes yesterday afternoon at just after 12 noon, 12:45 p.m., even 3:45 p.m. Okay, those were good sized earthquakes. Okay, you see some 2.0s here as well. Okay, right here, just in this top part of the seismogram. just the top part of the seismogram, you see at least 60 to 70 earthquakes. At least 60 to 70 earthquakes and tremors. But what do they do yesterday evening? Just after 9:45, about 9:49 p.m., they turned the seismograph off. 9:45, 9:50 p.m., they turned the seismograph off. And they did not record anything until 7:16 today. The seismograph was off for 9 hours. Inquiring minds want to know what happened during those 9 hours. Look what we've seen already today. This is from this morning. Yes, we see some 2.0 earthquakes. We see one seismic event over here on the lower left-hand side here. That seismic event, folks, was at least a 3.0 earthquake. Here it shows at least a 2.3 earthquake, but look at the time element where the earthquake lasted. You have to figure that in too. Okay? You also figure in out to the right. There's a small triangle out to the right of this. That also figures into the configuration of how strong that earthquake was. And as you can see, we have many more 2.0, 2.4, 2.5 earthquakes here today. Just here, just the seismic activity that we see on the bottom of this seismogram and at the top, we have at least 100 earthquakes. At least 100 earthquakes and tremors here. That's an awful lot of activity for the Salton Sea. That is a ton of activity. And they can deny all they want that it didn't happen. This is a USGS seismogram. We can ask them, why did you turn off the seismograph for 9 hours? You can see it happen. You can see it happen. They just honestly don't give a darn. They've been doing this now for at least 2 or 3 months, turning off the seismograph. Folks, again, I've said this before and I'll say it again and again and again, I know. I worked for the federal government. I worked in federal law enforcement. If we had falsified a police report, we would have been guilty of a felony. We would have been guilty of a felony. What would happen if we had a major earthquake during the same time period in the Imperial Valley? And the seismologists didn't have much information because they'd turn off the seismograph. What would happen? Heads would roll. Heads would roll. My question is, why are they not rolling yet? Why have they not been rolling yet? And this isn't the only place. I could show you seismograms all over California where they have turned off the seismograph, or they have doctored the information. They had doctored the information. Why? Why? 2 more stops here in California. I'm going up to Northern California. This is Mount Shasta, folks. Mount Shasta. This is a volcano. This is one of the southernmost volcanoes in the Cascade Mountain Range. Look what we have here. Okay? Again, this seismograph started at 12 noon yesterday. We have at least 2 2.0, 2.5 earthquakes here today. I'm sorry, yesterday. yesterday afternoon, along with a lot of magma. Each line here represents a 15-minute time period. Each line here, we're seeing magma coming into the magma chamber of this volcano. The lines here show the individual magma as it comes into the volcano for a 15-minute period. It's called magma pulse signals. Magma pulse signals. It starts off light and gets thicker and gets thinner again. The line starts out with a very small, thin line and gets thicker and gets thinner again. That is magma pulse signals in action. And you see several places where the white paper is completely covered up because there was so much magma. And you see individual vertical lines on each line. That is fracturing rock. As that magma comes into the volcanic chamber under pressure, it's fracturing rock inside the volcano. Okay? Then the amount of magma decreases here. It decreases here where it's almost nothing going on. This may have been where the seismologists here turned it down last night. Last night prior to midnight. Because very little of anything is getting through the turn down. This is not normal for any volcano. This is not normal for any volcano. This doesn't happen. Okay? The USGS turning down the seismograph, not allowing the seismograph to report action, activity at the volcano. We know for a fact that Mount Shasta and Mount Lassen are very active volcanoes. This is another seismogram from Mount Shasta. Look at this. This is over on the southwestern side of Mount Shasta. Okay? Look at all that magma that came into that volcano. Look at the earthquakes as well. The vertical lines without dots, and we have a few without dots, the vertical lines without dots are steam being emitted from the volcano. 6 to 7% of magma is water. And water vapor, when it gets heated up, boils, doesn't it? And that water, when there are tiny openings in the volcano or on the volcano, including at the summit, allows that steam to escape. So we'll see vertical lines with no dots in them. Those are steam signatures. Okay? And you can actually see earthquakes here as well. You can see the activity of magma here. Here, we see a vertical line with curlicues. Folks, this is indicative of a steam signature. A vertical line with a curlicue is a steam signature. That's what you're seeing here, and you see another red line that's computer generated telling the seismologist, hey, look at this steam signature. The rest of this down at the very bottom is gobbledygook. Apparently they moved the paper and it caused the digital element here to move as well. So at the bottom of this, that's gobbledygook. Yes, we probably had some tiny tremors here, or maybe a lot more than that. Okay, that is Mount Shasta yesterday and today. Let's go see Mount Lassen. I've got two seismograms of Mount Lassen here for you. Okay, let me move this down here. Okay, this seismogram also started at 12 noon yesterday. Okay, you see a lot of magma. Each individual line is showing you a lot of magma coming into the magma chamber. Sometimes it's less and sometimes it's more. Okay? But look here in the center of your screen right here. There's an awful lot of minor earthquakes and things happening here. Okay? For about an hour, hour and a half, we have a lot of earthquakes here. Okay? Mount Lassen is very busy, isn't it? Right there, dead center here. This is at least a 3.5 earthquake. Dead center right there. And there are two other earthquakes below it. Also 3.5 earthquakes. And a small tremor out to the side to the right. Then you see some other tremors here. You'll also see over on the center left a steam signature. A vertical line with a curlicue. Steam being admitted from Mount Lassen. Down at the bottom we have another 2.0 earthquake and several tremors. That's what's going on at Mount Lassen, guys. Mount Lassen is a very active volcano. Very, very active volcano. One more at Mount Lassen. Look at this. We're still showing you a lot of magma at Mount Lassen, but from a different perspective. Okay, this is LDH. This is over on the southeast side of Mount Lassen. Up at the top, just after 12 noon yesterday, we had a lot of magma, didn't we? Then as the day wore on, we got less magma. We also got some earthquakes here. 2.0, 2.3, 2.4 earthquakes. Also those lines in the middle. Guess what? Earthquakes, at least 3.5 earthquakes here. Okay? Down at the bottom we have a 2.0 again. So Mount Lassen is very busy, guys. Mount Lassen is very busy. Do we have any questions about anything that we've seen here? Any questions at all? Hurricane Heather says reportable earthquakes. Every one of these earthquakes and tremors are reportable. Every one of them. If they're not reporting it, they're the ones in the wrong. Every reportable earthquake that shows up on the seismograms is a reportable earthquake and should be on the map. If it shows up on the seismogram, it should show up on the map. And you saw quite a few different seismograms that did not show up on the map. However, there was that one. There was that one out over in MacArthur Park, Los Angeles. A 1.7 tremor in MacArthur Park. It showed up on the map, but not on the seismogram. Go figure. Did they doctor the seismogram? Yes, they do that too. They erase information every day and make it look like it never appeared, just like that quake. Okay? It's insane. I appreciate each and every one of you here. Okay? Richard Smith says, I can't even imagine Ron uncensored. R.E. Ron Springer Show. Isn't that the truth? Yeah, they censor me. Yes, they do censor me, but usually they don't get away with too much of it. Space Force Al says, USGS answers to no one. No, they don't. USGS is the preeminent seismic agency in the world. They don't answer to anybody but the President of the United States. But folks, given that situation there, even if they answered to Biden, do you think they'd listen to anything Biden said? No, not at all. I wouldn't. I don't listen to Biden half the time either. No, I don't listen to Biden at all. Very little of anything do I listen to him at all. And I could care less whether something went wrong and he just disappeared. I don't ask anything bad to happen on anybody, but, you know, if he just disappeared, I think we all would have a better life. That's just me. Okay? Smart But Patriot says conserving energy. That's not her name. I censored her middle name there. Okay? Conserving energy, yeah, I've got a fan going, I've got an air purifier going here. Out in my hallway, I have another air purifier. In my bedroom, I have another air purifier and a fan going to circulate the air through the house here. It's hot. It's like 96 degrees right now, and that's in the shade. Now, Hurricane Heather says she wouldn't lose any sleep over if suddenly Mr. B just disappeared. Yeah. So folks, that's our report today. Usually we do not come on the air on Saturdays. Saturdays are usually my day to kick back and try to relax, but unfortunately that has not happened lately. There's been a lot of information going on, a lot of things happening. Now, in the program description here, today's program description, just below this video today, there are quite a few different websites that I've offered you about information about Maui. Information about Maui. Folks, I am sorry to say, I'm very sad to report that an island just north and west of Maui, the island's called Lanai. Since the fire broke out in West Maui, they have recovered at least 189 bodies on the beaches of Lanai, Hawaii. 189 people who died in the water after the fire in Maui. There are just over 114 bodies that they have in the morgues, but I believe they have a lot more than that. They are using 3 morgues. The morgue on Maui is full. They brought in 5 refrigerator trucks. Each truck holds 40 bodies. Each refrigerator truck holds 40 bodies. So folks, they have a lot more people than they are admitting to as having died. And this ought to be reported. Whether they have names on them or not, the body count should be there. There are at least 1,100 bodies that they're responsible for trying to find. They may have found a good share of those, including 189 on Lanai and 111 that they admitted to. Okay? So that's just barely 200 or 300. Where are the rest of the bodies? There are at least another 900 bodies to be recovered. Now guys, one of the videos that I have given you in our program description, it's called The Perfect Crime. The Perfect Crime. You have a police chief that has been told that he's also the county coroner in Maui. Number one, he has no business being the county coroner at all. A county coroner is usually a medical examiner, a doctor. You cannot adequately assess, I should say, you cannot adequately assess what killed somebody unless you're a medical examiner, not a police chief. Him holding that position is a violation of law, even though the county of Maui has allowed it. And this has only happened since the Maui fire. All I'm saying, guys, there's a violation of law here. Number one, there are a lot more bodies that they have record of than what they've told us. They need to start telling us what is going on. It's basically a crime in progress, and it continues to get worse and worse and worse. The police chief, John Pautier, he needs to resign. Mayor Bisson, you need to resign. And no, I'm not being politically correct. After the Maui fire started, I told Bisson and I told the chief and everybody else that I would report on what was happening, so everybody in the world would know what's going on in Maui. I have kept my promise, but they are not reporting accurately, which is a violation of law on their part. So the police chief should go away. You should resign now before we convict you of more and more crimes. Mayor Bisson, the longer time goes on, we're going to find you also guilty of crimes. It's high time for the two of you to go away, to resign and let somebody do the job that can adequately and truthfully tell us what's happening, and keep the developers from going in to Maui and doing what the hell they want to do. That would also be a violation of regulations, a violation of law, period. Hurricane Heather says this is no time to be politically correct. We want real answers. And yes, that's exactly what we want. Does anyone have any questions for me? Does anybody have any questions for me? We want answers, guys, and we are going to get answers. Now, folks, I hope you have a good night and a very good day tomorrow. We will be back on the air at 12 noon with Come Follow Me, the Savior Said. It's a weekly broadcast of Sunday school that we've been doing for well over 2, maybe 3 years now. It's one of the best things that I've ever had to do, is teach Sunday school. And I haven't had to do it. I enjoy doing it. I enjoy teaching about the Lord's prophets. I enjoy teaching about the Lord's apostles. I enjoy teaching about our Savior, Jesus Christ. I love him. I honor him. In Romans 1:16 it says, that I cannot deny the Savior Jesus Christ. I know who my Savior is. And I've taught, I have preached, I have loved people into the gospel of Jesus Christ. Because that is what we need to do. Now more than ever, our society needs to know Jesus Christ. Our society is literally falling apart. So guys, please join me at 12 noon tomorrow Eastern Time Come follow me, the Savior said. Until then, if anything else happens tonight, we will come back on the air to tell you about it as soon as the information becomes available. I hope you have a good night and a better tomorrow. We will see you at least at 12 noon tomorrow. Come follow me, the Savior said. Have a great night, folks. Do know that I love you. I really do. Take care, guys. God bless you. God be with you till we meet again. We'll see you around the corner. Good night, everybody.